Okay, everybody. Shown from us to live, and we've got a stock that went through the moon this morning. Like we talk about things that happen going moon, this one went crazy. As of right now, we're seeing the stock is currently up today 70.66 points. It's been bouncing a little bit in that range, but today is up 70.73 now percent, even as I'm looking at it. So the stock I'm talking about is Blue Rock Residential, which is BRG. And the news came out that Blackstone actually just put out a buyout offer at a price of $24 per share cash, $24.25 per share cash, valuing it at $3.6 billion. So we've seen highs today of around 27.50 or just a tad under. This is a really huge kind of situation here, one that we talk about with arbitrage all the time. Before I say a word, I just want to throw this out there. I have been in BRG since the very beginning. I jumped in at the IPO, and I have been adding for many years. As of today, I sold completely out before I posted this video. So there's no games here, no trying to pump this thing. In fact, this transaction actually makes that almost impossible anyway. So just full record, I'm totally out. I took the games this morning. I actually couldn't believe when I woke up. I immediately put in the order. So here's the nuts and bolts of it as we're seeing it. There's an agreement that Blackstone has put out that says they will buy the 30 multifamily properties comprised of 11,000 units, as well as a loan book secured by 24 multifamily assets. This is just going to be from the press release. The properties consist of high quality garden style assets. So think your standard like large scale apartment complexes, typically pretty nice. They look very uniform, the pool, the clubhouse, all that kind of stuff. And typically were all built around the year 2000. Majority of the properties are located in Atlanta, Phoenix, Orlando, Denver, and Austin. Now, prior to the acquisition, the company separately intends to spin off its single-family rental business to its shareholders through the taxable distribution to shareholders of all the outstanding shares of common stock of a newly formed real estate investment trust named Blue Rock Homes Trust. For me personally, I was interested in this. I already own a number of REITs in the single-family space. I really didn't need another one, frankly. And seeing a 76-point jump today, I'm not greedy. I know when to get out of something. Now, here's some details on what we're expecting. Completion of the acquisition, which we believe at this point is expected to occur the second quarter of 2022, is contingent upon consummation of the spinoff. So in other words, for them to buy BRG, they need to get rid of those single families first. And let me just read this real quick. So most members of Blue Rock senior management, along with certain entities related to them, so this could mean funds as an example, have agreed to retain their interest in the company's operating partnership. Now, this is a couple of interesting things in there. Essentially, the people who already own Blue Rock, the people who are running the company, are saying, like, we're staying on board. They're basically putting that out in writing at this point. This is a pretty crazy, pretty big deal for a stock to jump like this when everything else in the market is completely red. To see an offer like this come out. And what's particularly interesting, and the reason why I jumped out, I'm going to even take a pause here. Zero financial advice. This is literally reporting the news and giving my opinion on what I personally did on my own financial situation. I don't recommend anyone do anything here. I'm seeing a cash price of about $24.25 per share. There might be another company that gets spun off, or maybe you end up getting some shares to that company as well. For me, in the game that we play here as investors and as traders, this is an opportunity to liquidate one of my single largest holdings and move that to cash during a time where I'm not sure where I'm putting my next move right now. So full transparency, this is a stock I owned for a long time. I completely sold out before this video hit. I currently have no holdings in BRG. And frankly, the reason was where the price was today versus where the offer price is. That made it such an unbelievable gain for me. I had to get out. We're talking, quite a big gain. So if you hold BRG, think about what your portfolio looks like if you're comfortable having it transferred into a different type of stock and taking cash for the rest. And if you're not in BRG, be careful jumping in because these are artificial highs that are probably somewhat governed by this transaction. What I mean by that is they're not going to go much higher, most likely, because there's sort of a cap where we already know it's being paid for the company. So why would you as an investor come in and pay more per share than Blackstone's going to pay? So just keep that in mind. Welcome to Debt Free Dad for jumping on the chat here. And I want to double down on that message here. I could have, in theory, held on and seen what happened. But this is a really, really classic case of equity arbitrage or M&A arbitrage that doesn't get talked a lot about because it can be a long-term play and it can also be complex. So for the average investor who's just jumping into index funds, you're probably not going to watch this and probably doesn't matter anyways. But a quick 30-second piece on this. What I've personally noticed in the market is that a number of the really strong residential players, BRG being one of them, and a lot of the smaller REITs and sort of the small cap and mid cap space are getting picked up and acquired by the large players because, frankly, there's, well, I mean, let's be honest, there's a number of reasons why. The real key here is simple. They want to get in, grab these assets at a good price, bundle them to what they already have, and they have scales of magnitude that allow for really good pricing, really good strength from management perspectives, really good balancing of costs and operational pieces. So we're talking about things like CapEx. Having that scale really helps your CapEx. Now, what is really interesting and maybe speaks to the opportunities in the market, frankly, is right now they're paying so much more than the current market price. With the way the markets are right now, I think this is a good sign for residential real estate. I think there's probably a big reason why they're trying to get into this. And I think additionally, it should give you pause to take a look at your portfolio and see if there's other opportunities that you're missing out on, or if this actually affects other holdings you have. Does this make another REIT even weaker? Or does this add strength to another sector that you're not currently in or looking at as well? So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. It is the middle of the day, and I don't normally do videos at this time of the day. So with that said, just be aware, BRG is way up today. It's based on an acquisition. So if you're thinking about jumping into this, you better be darn aware that there is a good chance this could drop down to that sort of price of acquisition. So if you're getting in at 25, 26, it's very likely to go back down. And I'm just from Jeffrey Dad, Crowcoin. Yeah, you know what? So if you don't see the chat in the replay, Crowcoin essentially is tied to the big name premier of the former Staples Center. You know what? I really don't know. I have no feedback on that at all. I have a sinking suspicion. Just maybe bring this 10,000 feet above in the air. In terms of a lot of these newer coins, a lot of coin pieces and crypto sides of things, I'm starting to wonder when we're going to get a surprise regulation come through. And I'm wondering if it's going to be early 2022, because with Manchin saying no to Biden and Build Back Better sort of either being pushed even further back or maybe even dead from what I read this morning. I'm wondering if this means we're going to have to see politicians on the left start to light fires under different things. And I think regulation of crypto could be one of them. I'm not saying for sure, but just on the note of arbitrage, I think this almost makes like a perfect use case for where I'm starting to think about what's happening with these prices. I haven't looked since this morning, but it looked like Bitcoin was down again today, which is not too surprising, frankly. But it sort of speaks to the fact that crypto should be sort of my anti-correlation market play, right? So if the markets are going down and crypto's going down, that's a huge concern for me personally, because I can't hedge myself out if every single thing I have goes the same way. And so I'm trying to run like a real strong variable correlation algorithm against this in the back end. Nothing crazy here, just doing like a standard regression analysis here. But I'll talk about that in the future, because I think that's probably something that not enough people understand or talk about. I think we hear a lot about high frequency trading and algorithms and everything else, and how we have trouble finding those opportunities, which is why, frankly, I'm a fundamental and economic based investor, not a TA investor. Although TA is obviously part of what I do, I really look for the big plays, the arbitrage, the opportunities that live in the market. So, but yeah, I appreciate that question as always, man. That's a great thought. I'm going to keep it there. I got to get back to what I was doing. Thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate it. And if anyone is watching at this point, we appreciate a subscribe and a like on the video. Thanks so much, all. Have a good one.